Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry Danzig and here for another Monday Night Wellness Stories. And as always, you're in for a big treat. So, just to key this off, if you're a guest listening here, you're going to hear some great stories. And these are people that are their own stories. We're not paid by the company by any means. The company is Nikken, and we are a wellness company and we're wellness consultants. And we love having natural solutions to offer people for aches and discomforts and whatever they need, whatever you need to have the most vibrant life. And so you may hear stories of a particular product and you may not know what that is. And so you should ask the person who invited you to listen so that you can get more information. Also, be sure that the person that invited you to listen has your email, because there's a whole bunch of resources that we can email you so that you can continue learning more. So with that said, we're going to kick it off with Catherine from Montreal. So please, Catherine, if you'll share your wellness story for tonight.
Hi. Well, I wanted to share the sleep system. I do just have the pillow here. But well, I didn't like one of my it's because my mom started Nikken at the beginning and we started buying the products and I bought the sleep system and I already have a mattress that is really amazing. So when I added that, it just gave me an extra on my in my sleep. Like when I sleep at night, I feel so much better. Like there's like no discomfort anywhere, like not in my neck with the pillow. The blanket and all that is just amazing. And when I wake up in the morning, I just feel like so much better. I feel like I'll go to bed like at 10 o'clock at night and I'll wake up at 6:30 in the morning with my kids. And I feel like I had like 8 or 9 hours of sleep. I don't look like someone that's went to bed really late. And it's just amazing. I don't know, like if I didn't have it today, I don't know what I would do. Like I just want to bring it everywhere I go now. And my son as well, he has the same thing. He's got the sleep system as well, and he's got the sleeping bag. And just this weekend, he went to his friend's house and his friend was begging him to sleep over. And he's like, why don't you want to sleep at my house anymore? And my son's like, well, you guys don't have Nikken system at your house. So he looked at me and he's like, Mommy, can you go and get me my sleeping bag? And I said, well, it's kind of far for tonight. You can probably just do without it. But when I went and picked him up the next morning, he's like, never am I ever going to sleep at my friend's house without my sleeping bag. He likes it. It's so comfortable and it's like so soft inside that even him, when he sleeps at night, he wakes up in the morning. He doesn't wake up at 5 anymore. He wakes up later. So I have a hard time waking him up in the morning. He just loves it. He says, thank God for Nikken.
I love it.
And I say, yeah. But our sleep is way better. Like we've noticed a difference. So we're lucky we have Nikken. Yeah.
And sometimes the best way to know that it's working is when you don't have it.
Exactly.
I've had so many customers and partners say they come back, they went on a trip. Now, today we have a topper that's very easy to pack up and to carry with you. But before this one, we had one that was pretty heavy. It was not, you weren't going to get on a plane with it, right? So sometimes not having it and then coming back to it is when you really understand the power of what these products are to sleep on it. So thanks so much, Catherine. That was awesome.
No problem.
So next we're going to hear from Renee, who's going to share a story.
Hello. Right now it's the dead of winter for us, and so I don't do a whole lot of gardening, but in the spring and summer I do gardening. We have several perennial flower beds all around our house, and my favorite gardening tool is actually this little gizmo here. It's the Kenkel Flex, and I wear it in my pants, for my lower back anytime I'm gardening. Well, one day last summer, I went outside and I wasn't planning on gardening, but there had been a windstorm come through and the front yard was littered with sticks. So I don't like seeing that mess. So I started bending over and picking them up and carrying them in my arms. And got to just about the very last stick that I was planning on picking up, and I bent down and I could not stand back up again. I had kind of reached a limit, and so it hurt like crazy. I dropped the sticks that I was carrying, and I made my way into the house and got this little tool that I had not used earlier, and it really made a difference. I have had problems with my back in the past where I would be laid up for, a week and a half, 2 weeks at a time. Using this and using a couple other products like the duct tape and drinking lots and lots of water, I was back gardening with absolutely no issue within 2.5 days. And so it was a good reminder not to do anything without this.
Amen. Boy, I hear you. I tell people I wear my MagFlex, BackFlex on my back 24/7, except when I get in the shower, because there's no way to attach it, but it's on my back constantly. So yeah, nothing like learning what it's doing for you to remind you that don't leave home without it, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so last but certainly not least, we're going to hear from Dr. Liliana Warner, who's a favorite person for me. She has been a chiropractor. You'll tell your little story. Tell your story to introduce, but I know that we reached out to you. You were pretty early. I want to say within the first year or so of your practice. Mm-hmm. And I know you have tons of stories, and everybody is going to be thrilled. It's always fun to hear from a chiropractor with your level of credibility, what you think and what your experience has been with these products. Take it away.
Sherry. Yeah. So I've been in practice almost 16 years, and I've been using Nikken in practice actively with patients for most of that time. I started out just by having the water in my office and then helping people acquire systems for their homes. So I'll start talking about that. So as a chiropractor, it's, one of the biggest things we talk about is hydration, because really hydration is key for optimal health overall. And as a chiropractor, I'm really looking at, we'd really like to help the body thrive, not just survive. So water is key, truly key. And so it's not, we're not having simple conversations about water, like you need to drink more water. We're really talking about water, and we're talking about what kind of water matters and what we're looking for in water. And after Sherry introduced me to Nikken and I really started researching what the best options out there are, I kept coming back to Nikken. So for me, it was a gimme. And even over the years, as I've seen other products come onto the market, I haven't seen anything compare in price and quality. So we still use it almost 16 years later. And the main reason, of course, the quality of the water, but also a lot of it is that when people are unhealthy, they are unaware of their body and what's happening inside of it. And so oftentimes people who are really ill feel like they don't like drinking water. They don't enjoy water because they're literally not feeling what it's doing for their body. And I find that that's the main difference that I see with patients in Nikken water. With the PyMag water, what we call living water in Nikken, really does give life back to the body. And we see, kids who won't drink water at home come into our office and run to get water at the water filter, at the water system, and, ask if they can have that at home. And, kids will tell you exactly what they think of something. So we know that's real. And, and adults who aren't big water drinkers will say, oh, I actually don't mind drinking this water. And over time, they really grow to like it. And that's when we know their body is really transforming, because they can sense that change in their system. So I really, for all the obvious reasons someone would choose a filtration system of any sort, plus the added bonus of what the PyMag water offers in additional benefits, plus the fact that it really does feed your cells in a way that you can feel and taste, where other systems don't. So I think that it speaks for itself a lot on that front. Anything else you want me to add on water, Sherry?
I think you did an awesome job.
Okay. So I used water in the office for several years, couple years before I started trying the other products. And, I'm very healthy myself. So I had a hard time understanding how I was going to experience a difference with something if I wasn't uncomfortable in my body already, right? So like many of the stories you'll hear about products are somebody was, had sore joints or was just uncomfortable in some way in their body. And then a product helped that, right? But for me, the thing that spoke volumes was the first time I tried the sleep system, which we've already heard a little bit about, but just to add to that, I tried it for one night. I really, Sherry was like, please try it. And I was like, okay, but I don't think I'm going to see any difference. I sleep great already, right? And I already have a great bed, just like Catherine said, right? And so, but I did. I was like, well, it's not going to hurt, right? So I'll try it. And I woke up before my alarm, more alert than I had been in years at that time of the morning. And I get up pretty early. I had many dreams. And I realized when I woke up that morning, remembering all my dreams, that I really hadn't remembered a dream in years, which just told me that my level of sleep was really superficial versus deep sleep, deep healing sleep. And that sold me on it right there. And I've slept with it since. So I've upgraded as the company's upgraded. I love my brand new one that I got just a couple months ago that you can travel with because it's a little bag. It's awesome. And so, yeah, I don't ever want to sleep without it again. In fact, I just went on a trip and circumstantially couldn't bring it with me. And the lucky person who got to cat sit at my house and sleep in that bed, I was jealous the whole time. So it's really, really amazing. And we see really positive effects with kids with, like behavior issues or who are really amped up at night and have trouble sleeping and relaxing, helping them calm before they go to sleep. So we get better quality of sleep and better healing. It's really just a benefit overall, because if you sleep better, you heal better. And that's really what we want in the end. So the sleep system, like Catherine said before, is definitely one of my favorites. And then, as a chiropractor, I see a lot of people with joint issues or sore joints or, sore back, whatever it is. And so we use a lot of the CM cream and the tape that was already mentioned in passing. Yes, there's the CM cream. CM stands for the plant that it's based on, comes from. Which is a really long name, so you don't need to worry about that. But CM is what it stands for, or is what the initials are. And it's totally amazing. So I really recommend that if anyone's coming in any kind of emergency into the office and we need to calm things down in the body in a particular area because of whatever happened in that moment. So we're really always going to recommend the CM cream to help just calm the area. And then we're going to do whatever else needs to happen, right? Whatever other home care needs to happen, but that will always speed the healing process in my experience. I also really love the duct tape. So that's dynamic underlayer kinetic tape, DUK tape. And, I feel like, support tape of different sorts you see a lot of those on the market, but I like this one the best because it's not just supportive, but it also has all the technologies that are in several of the technologies from the Nikken products. And so it also gives a nice calming effect to the area on top of the support. My patients swear by those two products. And I can't imagine practicing without it. It's the best two things I have in practice, other than just being hydrated, like we talked about, and getting healthy sleep, right? But in the moment, when someone comes in an emergency, those are going to be my go-to. And at this point in practice, it's kind of a joke. Like people are like, I know, put tape on it. I know, put CM cream on it. but they also know it works. And that's why I don't change products. I've used the same products, the same two since they came on the market. And we've tried a million other products and they never fare as well. And you know, what I usually find with people is that products work for some people, but not everyone. But these two products work for everyone every time. So I just stick with that, and I'm not going to keep looking elsewhere. So those would say my like 4 top favorite products. I also really like the MagFlex that we saw with the gardening story a minute ago. That's another favorite in my office. Works great for a sore, stiff area. Whether it's an emergency or preventatively, like we talked about, that's definitely a popular one. But really, you know, we carry all the products in my office. We make them accessible. We, you know, always have some CM cream and tape on hand because we need it so often. Everything else we just order as we need it for people, and they love it.
Thank you so much. Because this is such a treat to have you on, I would love for you to tell one more story. And that is, because you've got some amazing stories, the category, tell a story, but something about the air filtration system.
Oh, sure. Okay. So I own a wellness center. So we have chiropractic and a nutrition specialist, and we've had massage therapists, and we do ionic foot baths. We do all sorts of things in the office. And so it's a larger space and lots of energy in and out. And we're a busy practice. And so for me, it's important to make sure that we're, first of all, modeling for our patients what we want to see them doing in their lives, right? And part of that is creating a healthy home. So having the air filters, not only in my home, but also in my office, in all of our healing spaces, is really crucial to set a good example for them, and because they work. And so I actually have 2 quick stories about that. The first is that so years ago, I was doing some research about the negative ions and how the air filter, how that benefited, you know, people who were using the machines. And I did a ton of research about negative ions in the air and how that affected mood and changed mood, and did kind of a deep dive on the research behind healing and how the body puts off positively charged ions, and so negatively charged ions, which is what comes off it from the machine. How in healing we put off, if you will, positive ions, and that the negative ions actually come and replace and calm that space around us, right? And so quite literally, when somebody's in crisis or having a really hard time, whether that's physical or emotional, the negative ions actually, whether they're topical, like you wrap yourself in your blanket, or they're coming from the air filter, are literally helping to calm the system on a physiological level. And so I was like, well, this is crazy cool. And so I was, you know, I kind of learned about that, and then it was in the back of my mind somewhere, and I was like, you know, I don't know how to test that or anything, but this is a cool thought. And then I was in the office one day, and I was between patients. I'm standing by the air filter, and I was reading something, and it was rather upsetting. And I noticed that the air filter like turned way up and turned bright red. And I was like, no way, that can't be related to how I'm feeling right now, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna calm down and I'm just gonna meditate for a minute. And immediately it goes blue and it turns down again. And I was like, okay, that has to be coincidental, right? And so I was like, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. And I start reading the thing again, and I can feel myself getting worked up, and immediately red, it goes high, negative ions come on. I put my reading away. I calm myself, blue. And I see it all the time in the office. So we have one in the adjusting room, for example, and people love it when they're like, oh, it turned red. I'm doing really good healing. It's kind of a joke around there because they get it. They're like, the negative ions help replace and cancel out in a good way the positive ions that are coming off someone as they're doing good work like that, good healing. So I definitely, after that, bought one and put one in every healing space, healing room in the center. And in the waiting room and everywhere else I can fit one. So that was, I think, pretty cool and says a lot. The other one is that, we've been in a weird time these last couple years, and, our practice as a essential office stayed open the entire time. And we were able to really keep everyone super healthy. And that's for such a stressful couple years that we've had, that's so important. So to create a space where people feel safe coming in, a lot of that right now is about the quality of the air. And because we were already educating about how great these systems are and how powerful they are and what they're doing for the air and what they're doing for our bodies, people felt comfortable coming in. And we were able to keep our clientele super healthy throughout the last 2 years, despite what may be going on in their home or around them. And I feel like a lot of that is because we have those air filters everywhere.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I know that was a lot. Normally somebody shares one little story. And I'm really happy that you had the space and we could make the time for you to share so much. So
thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have a wonderful, healthy week, and we'll see you next Monday. Be sure to come back and invite friends and family that would benefit from hearing these stories. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Gloria.